We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and in today's video, I'm going to go over how EA completely changed recruiting in Dynasty mode. Guys, we're running a special deal right now. If you use code FLASH, capital F, you'll get $65 off the annual plan. If you use code FLASH 2025, capital F, you get $7 off the monthly plan. This is the best deal so far of CFB 26. It's a grandfathered in deal, so if you lock this in, you get to keep this deal for the remainder of the lifetime of your membership. Check it out, guys. We just launched Player Calculator V1, which allows you to input your archetype, your skill points, and the level of your player, and it shows you exactly how long it'll take them to grow and how many skill points they need. It'll show you the fastest versus slowest growing archetypes. We launched our master spreadsheet, which has thousands of lines of data over multiple tabs. We have a lot of other tools over there that you guys want to check out. Want to be a part of the best discussions in the best community in CFB right now? Make sure to check it out, guys. The game got patched multiple times this week based off of testing and data that we have over there in poodlecfb.com. So come be a part of it. Sign up now. Use code FLASH or code FLASH 2025. As you guys do know, EA dropped a pretty big patch this week that changed a lot about Dynasty mode, and that actually changed everything we want to be doing when recruiting this year in the mode. So what changed specifically, right? So as you guys do know, there was an exploit under coach abilities for Motivator Tier 1. So Motivator Tier 1, while being a supposedly interest boost type package within a player development tree, actually was the greatest recruiting ability in the game, and they've nerfed it. Now, it does still work to some extent, but it's very, very minor. And I have some underlying theories that they may have capped how much it actually improves versus like 5% stacks. Maybe it's only 5% max. But either way, they did nerf this ability, and it doesn't allow you to actually auto-commit a whole class in week 1. That's the first thing. So that changes quite a bit about your outlook on recruiting, especially for people who I had a lot of comments who said, hey, I'm not buying any recruiting packages. I'm going to build my entire coach without this. And I kept reiterating, that's not really the greatest idea because I had a good feeling they were going to patch it. And if you built a coach without it and then they patch it, now you can't recruit. So that's the first thing. This was patched. The second thing they did was get rid of the 100-point stack bonus for coaching points. So if you were a person that was going all in on stacking those points up and you were like, I can get every single package, now you got to be careful because now you won't be able to afford every package if you're starting a new league and was planning on doing that for your tree. But the third thing, really the most important third thing that changes a lot here, and I'm going to go over how this changes everything and kind of go through my new approach to this, is going to be that they did change position changes. So if you guys didn't already know, when you position change prior to this patch, you would completely ruin your players. So if you had, let's say you had like 5 left guards, and you want to move them over to right guard because you only had 4, if you changed your top guard here over to a right guard, he'd be completely capped and basically would have no potential or future, and it would kill your player. So this resulted in 2 things. First, the player was completely botched and won't grow that well, which hurt the ceiling of your team, but playing a lot of players out of position also hurts them on the field. You can noticeably tell when you play a bunch of guards and tackles and centers out of position on your line, they don't play as well as if they're in their regular spot. So that did definitely hurt us. So how this changes recruiting per se is going to be the approach. So prior to this patch, the way you had to recruit was very position oriented. So while recruiting, you had to focus on needs a lot more than you did last year. So if you guys don't already know, you really shouldn't always be focusing on needs. You should really be getting in best available and best available per grouping of positions. For instance, if you find 5 good left tackles and there's only 1 good left guard, just bring in the 5 left tackles and you could always position change them later. So this year you couldn't really do that because of the way you got capped. So a lot of times when you're bringing in, especially if you're a top tier program, you're bringing in 5 stars. See how there's no guards, but then you'll go and there's 5 left tackles here. Let's say you could bring in all 4 of these and win them with elite recruiter and CEO. You might be saying in this year's game it sucked because they have to play all these guys out of position and your roster and your overall looks kind of weird because you can't have everyone good at each position. Now you can. So now you want to change your approach of what you had before of recruiting simply for needs and trying to fill out your roster, which saves us so much time, by the way. That's a lot of work. But now you can go back to a different approach. And stay tuned later in the video because I do have a difference here for manual versus auto progression. I know a lot of you guys have leads with auto, some of you have leads with manual. Everyone's saying, how does this change? And my recruiting approach with this new patch, it does change unless you have manual or unless you have auto. So stay tuned for that. But now what I'm doing is I'm focusing more on top tier talent and efficiency again. So the problem with my approach to efficiency, which for me looks like this. where I like to bring in the first few seasons. I like to focus on winnable battles, stay in this lane right here, see what's first overall for me, scout them, take the best of these guys, and really give myself an easy chance to elite recruiter. The problem with efficiency recruiting is you're going to have players, too many edge rushers, too many left guards, too many wide receivers. You aren't going to have a balanced roster, but now because they fixed position changing and actually made it even advantageous, there's two things you could be doing here. Efficiency recruiting just got even better, not just because you can position change, but because if you guys watched my last video, it allows you to actually break caps on position changing. So the only other issue you have when efficiency recruiting, which is just basically taking all the battles you can win, bringing in the most talent, and then building them up. Now, because you can actually skill cap break and basically have built an architect using the new format of position changing, you can now go ahead and efficiency recruit even better, because now you don't have to be focusing on certain position groups. Or when you scout, if a person only has like 91 speed and you're like, well, I really needed a 94 speed running back, because of the new method with position changing, you can actually get that up to a 94, 95 speed. So now it's even better, because while everyone's fighting for that 194 speed running back or that 195 speed wide receiver, and you're bringing in the 92, like the 492s that no one wants at wide receiver, you can get them to the same speed. But now you brought in four stars versus one. Well, let's take it a step further. Now you brought in 4 stars and topped up the rankings right off the rip early on, taking in all these easy 4 stars, while everyone's fighting for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really good guys, and not everyone's going to win them. So now you're going to basically be improving the floor of every class you bring in. So in my other league right now, where I'm USC, I'm about to bring in about like 20 to 25 4 stars, and I joined late. And the reason I'm doing that is because while everyone's fighting for that shifty wide receiver or that 5-star tackle, I went all in on players that actually had high interest in me, were in within pipeline, and had the proximity bonus for visits, and that made things so much easier. Because of this change, it gets even better, because my one fear was once that class came in, I was like, all right, where did I mess up, who needs to go where? I can't really position change, so I got to make this work. Now I don't have to do that. So that's going to be huge. Now, there is something here that I want to talk about with how recruiting has changed. So a lot of leagues were turning off manual progression, because with manual progression, you were able to kind of exploit the motivator tier 1 glitch or exploit. And now with that taken away, manual progression is probably being turned on for a lot of people. But I'm going to make a caveat here to whether or not you want to auto, or what you want to do with auto or manual with the new way you can recruit. And if you guys know about my efficiency recruiting method, go watch my best recruiting method video. I dropped it day 1 of the game on July 7th, I believe. And that kind of breaks down exactly how I go about this, focusing on the pipeline ranks, especially this year. Pipeline's super big, the coaching packages that I set up for it. And I guess I'll go through it real quick for you guys. If you want to be an efficiency recruiting beast, these are the packages you absolutely need every single time. So the first thing you're going to want is you're going to want these filled out. Relationship Builder tier 1 through 3, and Stronger Roots tier 1 through 3. This maximizes your board to give you a lot of easy targets and allows you to kind of spread your net a little bit wider and selectively choose whoever you want to win easy recruits. This improves your floor of your team, and it really helps you get elite recruiter. And then once you do get elite recruiter, you definitely want to get at least tier 1 on these, and then for these all 4 tiers. But you don't necessarily need all 4 tiers if you strictly efficiency recruit. But if you have Program Builder and Elite Recruiter, you can both efficiency recruit and bring in top tier guys. So you could focus on the blue chips and bring in the efficient guys to always have a well-rounded class, and that's really the best thing to do. But Elite Recruiter isn't the easiest to get, but thankfully, because of the changes they made, it made the efficiency recruiting path way easier. So now, how would I recruit with these new changes depending on manual or auto? So with manual recruiting, I'm more inclined when efficiency recruiting to not care about their stats almost at all. I'm really not with manual. So for instance, let's say we bring in these halfbacks. Let's go look at a few halfbacks here. And we plan to bring in, let's show whatever the top ones are here. Let's look at these guys. Let's scout them. So let's scout this first guy, Harvin. And let's look at how I would approach this from a manual perspective. So as a manual perspective, 87 speed, a little low, but he's a power back, so it's not overly out of the ordinary. 83, he's not getting recruited at all. 87. And then we have another one right here at 85. So let's go with one of these 87 contact seekers or north-south receiver. Let's go with the contact seeker. While you may want that power back who's a 90 speed, with manual progression and being able to switch his position to fullback or full safety or free safety really, and then back to halfback and breaking that speed cap using yesterday's method, I'm more inclined to just get any kind of 4-star power back because I know that I can manually improve him. So I'm not overly focused on stats. As long as manual progression is on and you have the ideal coach build, I'm just focused on bringing in 4-star and above talent, or, you know, if you're a smaller school, 3-star and above talent. I'm more focused on that route now because I know I can then go in with manual and touch him up where I need it and potentially break his caps. On the flip side, If you're an auto progression guy, if your league's auto progression, this still applies, but I'm definitely being more selective a little bit with stats, because you do have to understand that even if you cap break his speed's still one of the most expensive things to upgrade on a player. So if I'm a manual progression guy, I'm more focused on the things you can't touch, like the height, the weight, the build, that kind of stuff. If I'm a manual progression guy, that's where I lean as a whole, personally. But if I'm an auto guy, I'm more focused on things that you can touch that are expensive. So I'm gonna give you guys a good example right here with Caden Durham. So if I'm a manual progression guy, the things that I'm focused on are his height, his weight, his pre-built in abilities. Because for me personally, I know I can position swap him, get that quickness cap unlocked, and then bring him up to a 97, 98 speed. So that's fine. I have no problem there, and elusiveness and all that stuff. But if you're an auto guy, understand that auto upgrades the cheapest thing. So they're going to be upgrading his hands, his elusiveness, his route running, and his IQ before he ever touches speed again. So even if you cap break it, you're not seeing that till the very end of his career. So for instance, like I said with efficiency recruiting, let's say you have 5 running backs on your board. 93 speed, 91 speed, 90 speed, 90 speed, 89 speed. You may say that 89 speed guy's going completely unrecruited. With manual recruiting, you could just bring him in, cap break him, bring his speed up, and get him for an easier win than going for the other guys that everyone's competing for. But if you're an auto progression guy, you have to understand that 87 speed guy, while you can cap break him, he's not going to upgrade that 16-point speed upgrade, which is what it's going to be near the end of their caps. He's not going to upgrade that as his first, second, third, fourth, or maybe even fifth option, plus upgrading abilities along the way. Because as you know, with auto, they do upgrade the cheapest thing. So for you, even with maxed out XP builds, it's going to take basically to their senior year to reach that ceiling that you're looking for. So understand their floor will be extremely low if you do go that route. So yes, this recent patch changed a lot about recruiting. I think now position changing is back. You can now move players where you want them. If you have a really slow power back, you move them to fullback. You have a really slow tackle, move them to guard or center. You have a really fast guard, move them to tackle. You can do all those things now and increase their caps. But I do think there's some change to where if I have manual, I'm more blindly recruiting. In the sense, like, I'm just going to bring in 4 stars that are non-bust. I'm going to bring in 4-star green gems, 5-star green gems, non-bust again. But I'm not overly worried about certain things like speed or deep route running or deep throw, because I know I can fix that instantly with manual. With auto, they're going to do it in that same thing as CFB 25, where it's like in order of cheapest to most expensive. So you got to be really, really careful when blindly efficiency recruiting. You have to have more due diligence, especially with auto, because you're just not going to get those things. You saw it a lot last year. A running back last year had to be one of the most frustrating things. So last year you would bring in a running back who had like 92 change of direction. He needed +1 to get his first thing a shifty, and he had like 93 speed, and he had caps open. But freshman, sophomore, junior year, he would spend all of it upgrading hands, route running, potentially even power, IQ. Then he'd upgrade recoup and sidestep and 360. It would take to their senior year to possibly even get bronze shifty or a speed upgrade. So when you're auto, you have to understand that those things that are like the money things, like throw power or accuracy. Well, accuracy is a bit cheaper on a pocket passer, but on a scrambler, it's expensive. So if you bring in a scrambling quarterback, the last thing they're doing is upgrading accuracy. So another thing they changed here is while you can position change a scrambling quarterback to get higher threshold on throw power or on accuracy, like I did with Keelan Russell yesterday in our video, you can bring them up and you can break those caps to make him an elite scrambling quarterback. But with auto progression, you can't upgrade their accuracy or throw power because it's so expensive. He won't do that to the very end of his career. If you're on manual, you can make him into 04 Vic. So manual versus auto plays a huge role now in what you can do with these position change exploits and just position change strategies as a whole. So make sure you do keep that in mind when doing your league. Also keep in mind what your manual progression penalty is as well, because that plays a role. For me though, right now, what I think got so important, especially with what they did, allowing you to break some more caps, I think what you have to be doing with how they change the recruiting setup is really avoiding Architect as a whole. The whole point of Architect is really to get to tier 3 and unlock some skill caps, and quite honestly, I'm not seeing the value in that because I can do it myself with the change. And what I am seeing the value is even going deeper in progression trees. So for me, tier 1 through tier 3 talent developer seems like a no-brainer right now. You get bonus XP for drafted. Freshman, sophomore quarterbacks progress faster, especially, I'm pretty sure if you redshirt them still counts, so that's 3 seasons where they get the Whisperer bonus. And quarterbacks earn XP faster, which also stacks with Motivator tier 3. So I think 1 through 3 talent developer and 1 through 3 motivator has become super essential, even more so than before, because now you're unlocking more caps, which means you need more XP to actually utilize them. So I think that's where we stand right now with the state of the game when recruiting, bringing in high tier talent, having great XP packages to maximize your recruits for right now, and having a bigger pool through program builder to make it easier to efficiently recruit as many guys as possible. You bring in 25 guys, that's 25 swings at the bat. You'll have like 10 to 15 of them with high ceilings that you can bring up, have some backups. It's made it so much easier. I still think Elite Recruiter has a place if you want to be fighting for those blue chip type guys, and I still think it's great. I just think it's a lot harder to get this year. Some leagues don't go as long. Smaller leagues take forever to get it. So for me right now, these three are king. These three are the king. Recruiting, Elite Recruiter is still great, but you just don't get it for a while. So in the meantime, I'm focusing on that route while I wait to actually unlock this. And if you unlock it early enough, of course, these are great. Because if you combine this with the program builder, not only are you going to have options, you could take whoever you want as the top of those options. But guys, that's basically for the video. If you have any questions about auto versus manual in regards to recruiting and how this patch changed things, let me know, guys. Motivator tier 1 is dead, so hopefully you didn't go all in on that because I told you not to. Now, for all you guys who have said that Motivator tier 1 being cooked now hurt your build, it did not, because Motivator tier 3 is a requirement on every build that I believe exists in this game. So to get to tier 3, you have to buy tier 1. So nothing really changed. What did change is if you said, oh, I don't need recruiting, and you never bought the package and started like upgrading tactician or something else instead, that messed you up, but I told you not to do that. But guys, that's about it. Make sure to check out our special code. If you use code FLASH, capital F, you get $65 off the annual plan. If you use code FLASH 2025, capital F, you get $7 off the monthly plan. Likely the best deal you're going to see. Was our best deal from last spring. Come check it out. Get signed up as we get through the rest of this July. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sub if you're new. Give this video a big thumbs up. I'm out. Peace.